Passenger, man. The tagline here says, "Don't ever stop." And obviously, that tagline was meant for us as the viewers and none of the fucking characters in this movie because everybody stopped in this motherfucker. God damn, man. Now, let me just put a little disclaimer up, man. I definitely was if I had did an episode for this when I watched it for the first time, it would have been an intox commentary. Me and the missus watched this a couple nights ago, and it was several drinks on deck, and I thought that would just make the experience a lot better. I'm like, I love watching horror movies when I'm sipping, man. It makes for really great intox commentaries. But this movie, I was looking forward to this because when we had went to see, I believe it was Scream 7. They showed a trailer for this, and everybody in the theater jumped. There was a jump scare in that teaser trailer, and everybody jumped. And I turned towards her. I was like, you jumped. You was scared as fuck. And she's like, nigga, you was jumping too. Shut the fuck up. But no, like, I definitely jumped, like, a little bit. Just a little bit, yo. And I was like, holy shit, man, this is Andre Overdahl. I think I'm saying his name right. I'm like, this is the guy that did Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. He did The Last Voyage of the Demeter, two underrated ass movies with cinematography that is off the charts and creature moments that are just really amazing. And it really didn't need a whole bunch of jump scare shit with those first two movies. And the fact that this guy was co-signed by Del Toro, I was like, oh yeah, this dude, I like this director, man. I love that Dean Cundey shade of blue that he uses in his films with that cinematography. I don't know who his cinematographer is, but his movies look great on the eyes, man. So I was looking forward to this, man, especially after that teaser. But I gotta say, man, I'm really disappointed with this movie. I was super disappointed with this movie by the time it was done. I was frustrated with this movie before we even got to the third act of it. The opening is kind of cool where I don't know if this is Justice Smith. Is this Justice Smith in the opening of this movie from Jurassic Park, the Jurassic World movies? I can't remember. But you got these two guys who are friends and they're on the road. One of them goes to take a piss, and then it is a really, that is one thing I'll say about this movie, man. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to spoil anything. I just made up my mind. I'm going to put a no spoiler caption at the bottom of this because I feel like this is one of those movies that has to be experienced, because there is the biggest compliment I can give this movie is that the tension is fucking incredible in this movie. The build-ups, the wait for something to happen, the misdirection is so fucking well done in this movie, man. This guy does such a good job. There's a parking lot sequence in this movie where it's just a girl, the main girl, and Jacob Scipio from Bad Boys 3 and Bad Boys 4. He played Will Smith's son. He's in this movie, man. And he kind of frustrated the shit out of me at some point in time because I'm like, dog, I was like, yo, you're fucking Will Smith's son in Bad Boys, man. I need you to whoop this entity, whatever it is. I need you to whoop this thing's ass, man. But that wasn't the character he was playing, rightfully so. But there's a scene where the main girl is leaving him. They're a couple, and she's leaving him to go wait in the car or their van. That they kind of like are traveling on the road in, and it's a nice little decked out van, but she's going from the gym to the van in this empty ass parking lot, and it's like part tracking shot, but it's part like cutaway, and then it's part tracking shot again, but it is really well directed, and the tension is so good because while you're waiting for something to happen, it's not happening, but they give you moments where it's like, holy shit, like, did that just, oh shit, like something's going on here, and I don't know if we're dealing with some supernatural things or not, but it might not end well for this girl. But it's really well directed at times. Like I said, the tension, the build up, the suspense is really good in this movie, man. I will definitely give it credit for that. There are moments of, I'm not going to say heavy gore from what I remember, but there are moments of violence in here where it is kind of like cringeworthy, and I was like, yo, that was actually, it was actually really well done. Even if it's just shown for a brief moment, it was still well done. What is something else I can give this movie a compliment on? I feel like when, it's a moment where, like a lot of horror movies, especially the supernatural ones, man, of this caliber, there's always a moment where the main girl or guy is trying to convince their partner, yo, this is really happening, and they don't believe them. But then there's something that happens where they're both on the same page, like, I saw what you saw, like, we here, we got it now. So it is that moment. So that was cool too, man. But if I got like if I'm talking about something that irked the fuck out of me in this movie, man, we gotta go. We figure out what the entity is, and oh, we gotta go seek out somebody's help because you know exactly what it is. It's like, yo, we did this shit in Smile. We did this shit in fucking Mirrors. Like, oh my god, that is a trope in these fucking supernatural horror movies that just bothers me and gets under my skin, man. They did it in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. They went to see the old blind black lady. I know you know who Sarah Bellows is. We need your help because you're the only one who can help us with the help. It's like, yo, just like, come on, man. I'm so fucking tired of seeing that trope, yo. Or at least I'm tired of seeing it done in just generic, basic ass ways. You know, I haven't seen anything done differently with these movies, man. It doesn't matter what type of fucking entity you're dealing with. You got to go to somebody for the help, and they either gonna help you or they ain't, or they going. It was just so frustrating, man. And then at some point at the end, man, they kind of try to bring like religion into it, and I'm just like, oh my fucking goodness, we just couldn't resist ourselves, could we, man? I'm just really disappointed with this movie overall. I don't even remember what I gave this movie by the time we were done watching it. I want to say I gave it like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Because there are moments where it's just like it will keep you on edge. It will definitely keep you on the edge of your seat to see what's going to happen next. I would recommend watching this movie with the lights out at full volume, like as full volume as you possibly can. Just to creep yourself out, or just to try to purposely scare yourself. It may or may not work depending on how well you deal with jump scares or misdirection, but I just think the spectacle of it is cool. Like, this probably would have been something cool to see in the theater as far as sound design goes, but I probably still would have been disappointed. I probably still would have gave it a 4 out of 5, or a 4 or 5 out of 10. But man, just this is this is one of his weaker movies, man. I think Last Voyage of the Demeter might be his better film, and then Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark might be second. I got to see his other work, but this definitely lands smack dead number 3 as far as the films I've seen from Andre Overdahl. Not a terrible director. I just think this was kind of like a bit of a misfire for him. But what can you do, man? Don't ever stop again. Like, ain't no more. It shouldn't be no more Passengers, man. Like, come on, man. Like no more of this shit.